Hello, hello, Trinidad and Tobago. My name is Mark Anthony Peter, and welcome to Breakthrough. It's a wonderful Monday morning, and on this wonderful Monday morning, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Sean Michael Small. Hello, Sean. How are you?
Had a disagreement on my other show. It was all energetic. But that said, that's not really the thing that has me feeling how I'm feeling this morning. A lot of bad news this morning.
Yes.
A lot of bad news. Not just what was in the papers, not just what's on social media with the unfortunate case of the Honorable Lisa Morris Julian and that very untimely passing. Minister of Youth Development, Foster Cummings, I believe, has posted online. So essentially, I believe that confirms the news, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was hoping without hope, really, that it's not the case, but it is what it is. But also just people in the neighborhood, not the cheerfulest of times for different reasons. So it's one of those things where when the Christmas season, and for some people it's okay, but for other people, you know, whether it's dealing with crime in one case, an accident and crime in another case, economic woes, and you know, it makes a show like Breakthrough, and the point of it about speaking about art, it on one hand makes it seem like, hey, this is not important right now. But on the other hand, it's like, hey, we kind of need some of this right now, right? At the same time, because there's always that very strange thing about how do you live life normally, the more aware you are at all of the harsh realities that everyone else is facing at this moment, if you're fortunate to not face it. So that one very innocent question leads me to that. And we're here on Breakthrough now to try to switch gears and put a smile, because we're not going to talk about the heavy stuff anymore. I promise. This is the talking point. This is Breakthrough. This is Breakthrough.
I appreciate that. No, it's one of those, and for those who ascribe to it, it's that whole concept of duality in life. You know, I remember when I experienced a loss in my family, one of my really good friends said, listen, unfortunately, sadness and joy live on the same, live on opposite sides of the street, of the same street, right? So it's one of those things that you kind of have to experience at times, and at the same time, and you sometimes don't know how to experience them at the same time. But as you said, this is one of the things where something like this can remind us of the other things that are also important, not saying that, you know,
as you said that, sorry to cut you there, but as you said that, I thought about a quote from a movie. Okay. And the thing is, this is something that modern movie writing, I think, really misses the mark on. They try to be too political, and they don't actually have anything to offer mentally or emotionally or psychologically, because it's just this very cut and dry, simple, political, closed ideology, as opposed to an open message that allows you to be inspired. And I always say sci-fi and fantasy allows us to examine the human condition under conditions that don't exist but are extreme, so then it breeds questions about our perception of our reality. So, of course, there was the movie Troy, where they spoke, it was based on Homer's The Odyssey. It didn't necessarily show a lot of supernatural things going on. It implied a lot. And one of the things that the main character, Achilles, played by Brad Pitt, says is something to the lines of, I can't remember if he said, they're jealous of us because we're mortal. And this is not the only time I've seen that philosophy in a piece of fiction, where it's the finiteness of our reality that adds so much value, because whenever you have any story or fiction about someone who has lived long or lived forever, one of the common things that's examined is the sheer utter boredom and the fact that your journey is now separate and apart from everybody else.
Everybody else's, yes.
Right? As opposed to the fact that we're all on this limited time together. Of course, the older generations will die, that we meet will die before us. We will go before the younger generations that we meet. But generally speaking, all of that adds, and this is why there's something beautiful about certain sad songs, sad movies, where you get these bittersweet endings that are poetic, even though it's not like, and they live happily ever after.
Right. It's a reminder. It's a reminder about the realities of life and our condition. And this is why, I mean, when we had our last week's guest on Sule, and I had to ask the question, how as we as artists can sort of function on a daily basis because of the fragile space that we exist in, and two, literally our job is to remind people of who they are, where they come from, and where they're going. Not
just that, but I don't know if this has happened to you before, but like here's a more recent example. Oh gosh, that movie that Lady Gaga was in, A Star Is Born. The last song that she did, the song in the movie was about her husband that took his own life. But in reality, she was dealing with a personal loss, I believe, of a friend, and that's the emotion she was channeling. For artists, and I guess maybe even more now in Christmas time, yes, of course, every now and then you'll get a song that is about just positive feelings, like Zachary De Lima's song. He was in one of the malls this Sunday with some of the...
All over the place. I loved it.
Right. Well, no, but I mean, Stephanie Young and some of the people from the orchestra we've had on the show were there as well. I'm not too sure if they were backing him up or if it was a whole program.
They probably were just there.
Right. Wendy Shepherd was there as well. A whole big thing. We were out. I didn't see it. I apologize, but I appreciate all you artists doing your thing. But even when the song is that positive, to some extent, we don't know what's going on in his life. We don't know what he knows about what's going on in other people's lives. Because when you come now to do Christmas music, a lot of what comes with Christmas is, yes, the joy of the holidays, but then your baggage, the baggage that you know other people might be going through, things that might just come and surprise you now. Because I remember one of the concerts that I was a part in before you joined Love Movement with me a while ago. There was an incident between, there was a domestic incident between two parents who separated in the parking lot. And a moment of, let's come see our child go on stage and perform and something that's happy, potentially turn into something that wasn't quite as happy. Now, fortunately, the incident didn't go too far, but it was something that, someone had to deal with it. So I had to deal with it. So, make sure everything was okay. It doesn't disrupt the audience, doesn't disrupt the concert, whatever. And then I had to go and sing happy songs afterwards. It was just one of those things where...
It's the reality.
And even if it's happy, there's a juxtaposition of the artist who has to try to portray that when not everything all the time is happy. And I guess it's something about singers, especially in Trinidad, where there's two big seasons. There's Carnival and there's Christmas, ironically. And if you're not a soca star, then you are definitely performing during the Christmas season.
Yeah. No, it's the, and for all artists, not just singers as well, but for all of us who have to write stories and tell stories, portray any sort of story that really tugs and pulls and acts as a mirror, and not just any sort of mirror of what you want to see yourself as, but the mirror of what the reality actually is. It can be it could be very uncomfortable to experience the art, to consume the art, but it's also an experience for the artist to actually create it, because sometimes we do know and sometimes we don't know how it'll affect
Sometimes
others.
Is that also potentially therapeutic?
Yes, sometimes. Doesn't always solve itself in the moment.
Right.
Or days after.
Right.
Sometimes you actually get the message years later, and then you realize, oh, okay, that's what I was doing at the time. So, and again, you never know who you're reaching, and you never know how they're reaching.
But
how they're being reached.
There's also...
Which is why, sorry to cut you off, but this is why many of the things that I do, I try to make it, is all about, I try to make it as authentically as possible, and also just to bring joy.
But also there's something about, yes, you think you might be going through the motions, but the process of going through the motions, quote unquote, it's one of those things where you kind of manifest the reality. It's like, yes, I'm sad right now, but I have to do this happy show. And the process of trying to get myself to be able in whatever way to do this happy Christmas music to spread joy.
Right.
At times, sometimes could, even though it starts off as being fake, I'm not happy, but I might come out of it happy.
Right.
Because I'm going through the process, I'm trying to resolve my emotions. The situation doesn't have to be resolved. I don't have to learn the lessons right now, but emotionally, I'm going through these projects and I'm trying to find, because at some way, shape or form, even if I'm faking it, I still have to find some happiness somewhere. I still have to be able to find a part of myself somehow to express some happiness.
Yes,
and in doing so, it kind of breaks the cycle of worrying. And the negative thoughts of, what, oh my gosh.
And part of the reason that could be so difficult is because we don't look to be sad, right? So when we're happy, when we're content, we don't look for worry, we don't look for anxiety, we don't look for sadness. So when we are actually sad, then we actually have to, that is where, as you said, we look for the happiness, we look for the joy. And sometimes, and for the first few years, when I say the first few years, but for the first few times these sort of things happen, it could be very difficult. It could be very difficult for the person, but as you, at the end of the day, once you go through life and you're able to experience all of these things, and you have not, I don't want to say enough experience as if it's something to flex, but once you do have enough experience, you're able to go through the emotions a little bit better with a little bit more grace, a little bit more compassion, and a little bit more strength as well.
I do think there's something to be said, though, about until you have that strength, you still go through the emotions. That is, in a way, a strength in itself.
Yes, of course.
Right, to keep trying.
Because, yes, one foot in front of the other.
But with that said now, I mean, we're talking about all of the joyful music that has to be done. Not all of it is joyful. There are a few sad songs for Christmas, you know, and there's something about art about, you know, giving you that diversity. But one of the things is you've done your best to bring joy to people for Christmas.
This is the part of the show where Sean becomes the interviewer.
Right. This is where we segue, right? So I'm doing my most professional segue effort here.
Hi, week.
So you have a project, an ongoing project.
Yes.
Right? Where you've tried to spread some Christmas joy on your own. Because the man is a busy man. He's involved in many musical groups and communities and projects.
What is the question, sir?
Hold on. We are already set up. I have to, listen. I have to do like what some hosts would do, right? You need to give some distance so that the audience can emotionally properly transition. Otherwise, they'll be lost because it'll be too sudden.
Communications technique 101, people.
Actually, no, I got this from Kevin Hart. From a roast where one of the personalities he did something that he shouldn't have done. He spiked a shot glass and it broke and it cut someone's face. So Kevin Hart actually had to like reset the room, bring everybody back from that, so that the next comedian could then bring back the joy. Bring back the joy, right? So we're taking the time. We're getting there.
Go ahead.
So you may have seen the promos or the ads for the latest iteration of the 12 Carols of Christmas, but this is something that originates with you. This is your baby, your brainchild, and this is the origin of Mark Anthony Peter, not the musician, but the producer, director, the organizer.
Okay, so I'm guessing the question is how?
Well, that first one.
Yes.
I think I know what the answer is. It might seem obvious, but what started this all? Because I'm pretty sure you just started it. What you were potentially thinking at the start is not necessarily where we've reached now.
Right, yes. So how did it all start? So much like for many creatives during the pandemic, that was an opportunity for creative growth, right? And we all kind of had to pivot in one way or the other. So it was the height of the pandemic. It was at the end of 2020, obviously, Christmas season of 2020. The restrictions were just about to be relaxed. I think we had reached like 5 or 10 people could be in a space. Remember, we were going back and forth.
It was, but it was 10. Still like heavy restrictions. Yes. Not like you could have a gathering.
Yeah, no. So one of the many things that I look forward to during the Christmas season is Lewa. I don't know if anybody knows what Lewa is, but it's kind of like your last lap for Christmas, especially for parang music, right? And it happens in various parts of the country.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
But that explains why parang is on longer than I think.
Right. And that usually happens like the weekend. The one that I go to happens the weekend before school opens in January. right?
Okay.
So that's like really a last lap.
Depending on where Old Year's and Christmas falls, that's an awkward weekend, though.
Yeah, but no, people still come because it's not like a paid event. It's something very much, at least the one that I go to, it's very much a street party.
But the weekend after Christmas could also be the weekend just before school, depending.
Yes,
on how
depending, and sometimes it even goes into school. That
Woo!
We don't care. We are going.
Y'all are fighting against that soca that starts from Boxing Day.
That comes to my next point. I'll get to that. So that's one of the traditions that I really look forward to. Thankfully, it's back since everything had been opened up for the past couple of years. So it's like, I need a new tradition because we don't know how long this thing gonna last.
Because this is interesting, right? What I never knew, and I only learned from you, I always thought the 12 days of Christmas or whatever would have been the days leading to Christmas, not the days from Christmas and after, which I believe is formally the case.
Yes, and that is actually formally the case. So
and that's why you wanted to, that's where you got it from, because you start from Christmas Day.
Yes.
And as you said, you wanted to have that after Christmas.
Yes.
So that's why you go after Christmas with the 12 carols.
In Christmas of 2018 or 2019, before the pandemic, that was a really nice Christmas. I had a good Christmas day, and then I woke up Boxing Day, and I just hear this big truck passing down the road playing soca music already. I'm like, it's still
I'm not gonna lie.
December.
I never heard the truck. I know the radio stations, but
there
I
was
never
a
heard
truck.
of the truck.
There was a truck, and I said, give us a little bit of grace.
Now, to be fair,
please.
you live like somewhat near a highway, somewhat near a very major thoroughfare.
Yeah, but we also, at the time, that neighborhood was very quiet.
It's a suburb,
yeah. We are the radio still on. They're still playing like the parang music and the Christmas tree, that sort of thing. The 97.1 type of music.
Unfortunately, there's a major shopping center like right there.
But it wasn't the norm for a while, and then all of a sudden it became the norm. And I was just like, this is not working for me. So then when 2020 hit, and I decided to do this thing, I said, you know what, let me invite some of my friends. And we do have some clips of it, and we could show it right now. But I invited some friends. We started off in that is my bedroom. I had to move the mattress. I had to move the Christmas tree from the living room into my bedroom. It was one camera, one iPhone, one mic, and we made it work somehow. Right, and that was in 2020, and then obviously in 2021 we expanded. Things became a little bit more relaxed. Oh, look, somebody familiar.
I need to slim back down to that.
Week. So then we were able to do something in my church. That was season 2. I invited some friends to do some things. And it was really, again, one mic, one camera. I really tried my best to edit as best as possible.
Yeah, you were cameraman, producer, director, editor, sound editor, program director, accompanist.
Yes, I did everything. And even with some of the shots.
Here's the question. How much did you know about camera work, editing, sound recording?
It was very much OJT. It was very much on the job. But
usually the best stories, that's the case.
Yes, but I think we've established this before. Remember when we were talking about the quality of media and stuff like that, I would always observe and always try to figure out, like, how did this work? And because it was the pandemic, like, I had nothing but time to learn. Right? So I literally just sat, watched a lot of videos, watched a lot of people talking about certain things. I was just like, okay, cool. Once you just cut it, there's some things that it looks nice and fancy and complicated, but then it was just easy for me. Once I saw how it was done, it was easy for me to just execute.
But then there's also the fact of, look, for certain things in life, you just do.
Yes.
Because it's like, look, it's not going to be perfect. There's no amount of videos and training you could do for it to be perfect the first time out, right?
Exactly.
You could buy all the fancy equipment. That doesn't guarantee success initially.
Exactly. And I think what I didn't even realize I was doing, I made it intentional to start small. So that there won't be too much room for any major errors.
Right.
Because obviously it's the first time I'm doing it. So obviously in 2020 the restrictions kind of helped because it was either me on a piano by myself or me on a solo singer. Right? So it was just one angle. I got some stock footage from online. We put it together, tried to make it work together. And then it was like, and there's a funny story about a certain song that took 6 hours to film. But we'll get to that in the second segment when said soloist comes on the set. Right?
I can't wait for that.
But you know, it took we started small and it just kind of slowly build and build and build.
And then I think after maybe the second one.
Yes, so it was in 2021.
That was the first one? Or the
No,
second
so
one?
the first one was 2020. This first and the second one were 2020 and 2021.
Right.
2021 is when I first introduced the choir, right? I first had a choral ensemble.
Right.
Introduced it. And then in 2022, I didn't do one, but the same group was part of WESN's We Christmas.
Yes.
Right? And that's when we came and we filmed that. So we were still able to be part of something and do some songs, right?
And I think for 21, I was there.
21, you were there.
That's
yes.
the clip with
yes.
me there.
Yes.
So right, so 2021, you expanded.
Yes.
Because I saw, obviously, not just a bigger group in a bigger space, but also the camera work.
Yeah.
Was different.
Yes.
I think in some cases you had multiple angles.
Yes.
You took multiple takes.
Yes.
You weren't necessarily always singing because you were now
Yes.
or in the shot because
yes.
you were behind the camera.
I'll probably just say his name one time. So my co-producer and co-director Eric Alvarez, there will be times where we were on opposite sides of the group on purpose.
Right.
So if I just wanted to film this side where he was on it, I was holding the camera or the iPhone basically. And then when it was only my side, he would film it. So we would just literally just have to do those takes individually.
Yes.
And it was a long creative process, but it turned out really, really well. And thankfully, I think the saving grace is I have people who are willing to kind of go the journey with me. And
Yes.
for that, I am eternally grateful to all of them because they're really looking forward to it and where it will go next. So it's always been like a climb, just sort of improving on it each year. And now I'm able to say, you know what? Now for 2022, we did an Easter. We did an Easter and a Christmas, not 2022, 2023. Yeah, 2023. Last year we did an Easter for the first time and a Christmas, so we did it in
right,
two.
and 22. So what happened
22 was
after
yours.
21, I essentially pegged Mark, like, okay, we need to try to do more projects with Mark, right? And I introduced Mark to the station got introduced to Mark. Then we did the first Christmas project together because Mark was interested in getting our production team, WSN Films, best film group around, because that's why we look as good as we do. Shout out to Mass Control right now to the guys that do some of those works, whether editing or shooting.
Yes.
Ryan Gomez Burke there, behind the scenes there. Best grip in the Caribbean, by the way, on top of other things. But
and big up Cut Master Josh.
So we had the 2022 shoots where we did a Christmas thing. WSN was putting together a Christmas show. Right. Your group graciously agreed to be part of it. We did our first shoot. It was a grueling shoot because we tried to do everything at once. So that was quite long, but we got it done.
Yes.
And that was the second iteration of We Christmas, the extra extended version. Because we did a We Christmas before, which was a parallel shoot while Mark and I was a part of Love Movement's Christmas shoot. The WSN was doing its shoot, one in Queensall, one in Cascade, and our executive producer in WSN, Rodney Ghani, was basically directing both, one via the internet remotely, right? So we had the first project now with WSN Films because Mark was like, hey, if you all could do shooting and I gotta do shooting, that's so much better for me. Yeah. And then it turned into the next Easter we had another shoot, and then the Christmas we had another shoot. And to be fair, we've had even grander plans that we've tried, but we haven't been able to get off the ground. But we also had a Christmas shoot this year where I guess a lot of things came full circle because I don't think we necessarily used your branding of the 12 Carols of Christmas until this year.
Yeah, so this is the first time it's moving from online, from YouTube to television.
Right, as in we're basically combining the two.
Because last year what we did, you used some of my songs from last year to be part of We Christmas last year.
Yes.
Right, but then I also still produced my stuff.
Right.
I edited, but now it's coming together.
So this year, it's like almost like it's full circle. Yeah. Everything came together. As opposed to other We Christmas, all of the content essentially was produced by you with regards to the talent, sourcing the talent, and
the songs
and, then
and the order of things and stuff like that.
So and then of course, our production team did the shooting and is doing the editing and so on. You help with some of the sound recording as well. And now here we're at the 12 Carols of Christmas, and I mean it's interesting because I'll say this. As much as you have your friends and your now members, and we'll get to that later, anticipating where's the next step, I'm the guy in the background like, hey, what
He's
more?
So annoying.
What more?
He is so annoying.
Because I want to see you do bigger and better things. Is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that? I don't think so. I am the encouragement. Slash devil on your shoulder, like telling you should be doing more,
stone in my shoe.
That too. That's fine. I'll take that.
Stone in my shoe.
I'll take that.
But no, I will say I'm very grateful for everything. The people involved, WESN being able to film this and take the quality to a whole new level that I never really expected. I always pictured, but I never expected it to happen so soon. Right? I always had clear visions of where it could go. But I never thought it could happen so soon.
But all the while, because I have been encouraging you to continue doing your own individual, doesn't have to be a whole concert every time, but your own individual projects and shoots, and we've kind of done.
I don't have time, Sean. I don't have time. I just finished an entire weekend at Queensall. Like, give me a chance, please.
Just let's segue to that, and then we'll come back to the topic at hand. Because, like, what's your Christmas been involved with? What other productions? But because one of the things is this year, the 12 Carols of Christmas, and we said this up front before your show. It was a program that did not include pieces that you did for your live show, which is not always the case in the past.
So usually if we do, and we only did 2 live shows for the first time last year, and we just kind of continued it. It was usually what would happen, we would do the virtual, the YouTube one will always be the priority.
Right.
And then we thought, you know what, let's just take the repertoire and do it live, because it's really good repertoire. This time around, we also had a live show and the shoot for the 12 Carols of Christmas. First time with the different repertoire.
Right.
Like there was no intersection at all.
So
right. So the group had to learn 2 different sets of rep.
Now in 12 Carols of Christmas, there are multiple acts.
Yes.
Right, including your group. But in your live show, was it just the only overlap was your group, or were there other people in? No.
So this year, what I did, it was just the group. Obviously, again, accompanied by UE Arts Intermediate Steel Ensemble and the UE African Drumming Ensemble as well. But in terms of the singers, it was everybody. Everybody who sang in the choir also had a solo, right? So it was.
Wow. That's not pressure at all on everybody. Right? Well, I guess at some point, that's in a way where the industry potentially can go to. It's
the
level
done
of talent.
It's done many times in many different spaces. But in terms of the first question, just as we were about to wrap up, how does my Christmas look like? I've done at least maybe 5 or 6, or at least been part of 5 or 6.
Because just your group and the stuff that's your personal projects, of which I will count our WSN project as saying, that's 2 separate programs that you had to put together for Christmas.
Yes.
Then you are part of how many other groups on top of that?
Maybe 2 other, obviously, UER's chorale and obviously Lydian's. We just had that this weekend. I also was part of 2 school productions, being the accompanist for 2 primary schools. So all of those things, this is the life.
This is the life.
This is the life. And then after today, I have another rehearsal that I'm going to go to right now.
Oh!
Yes. So anyway.
Listen, folks, this is December the 16th. I'll say this. Was our Christmas shopping, ran into somebody from Love Movement. I was like, so when is Adamson Square happening? Because I'm totally out of touch. It was Saturday. And I was like, I'm just so out of it. Right, but then I'm also like, right, so you're on vacation now.
Yes.
But you're not.
I'm not. But we want the audience to stay in the loop and stay with us as we're gonna head to break really quickly, and then we're gonna bring on some really special people. Not all of them, they're all special, right? But 2 very important people as part of the group.
So when you say 2 more special than others,
we all would have seen the ad for the 12 Carols of Christmas, obviously playing. Don't forget, this is Breakthrough at WASN. We will be right back.
Simon's Musical Supplies Limited. We are the specialist in new and used musical instruments, carrying top brands like Yamaha, Pearl River pianos, vinyl and Sabian cymbals, Remo and Evans drumheads and Fender guitars, just to name a few. Also a wide assortment of music books, pan and accessories. At Simon's, we service what we sell. Trust the leader. Call us now at 625-6412 or visit us at 20 Board Street, Port of Spain.
Transform your home with PCU Plus. From stylish furniture to the latest appliances, we have everything you need to create your perfect space. At PCU Plus, we offer fair prices and affordable financing options that are cheaper than hire purchase agreements. With convenient locations in San Fernando, Tobago, Arima, and our lifestyle showroom in Barataria, you're never far from the best deals. Visit PCU Plus today and discover why we're the top choice for quality furniture and appliances. PCU Plus. Quality you trust. Prices you'll love. Visit one of our locations or find us online to start transforming your home today.
Here's your chance to win a bicycle, a ride-on, or a hoverboard. Shop at dbesttoys.com and spend $300 or more to win big.
We've got Barbie,
Hot Wheels, Gel Blasters, Ride-ons,
Leapfrog,
Nerf, bicycles and tricycles.
Greco, and Wonder Baby.
Visit us in store at Forces Flagship, McLean, Movietown, Port of Spain, Eastgate Mall, and M6 Plaza, Endeavour. Merry Christmas, everyone!
Having trouble Christmas shopping? Check out the Kids Shop today. For all your officially licensed kid character merchandise, we carry characters such as Disney Princess, Frozen, Spider-Man, Paw Patrol, Sonic, My Little Pony, and much more. Call or visit us on Facebook or Instagram. Nationwide delivery available. The Kids Shop, for all your licensed kids character merchandise.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Once upon a time, in the town of Medford, there lived a man named Jack Frost.
Happy holidays! You guys are great!
Are all musicians really flaky?
Yeah. He had a beautiful wife and a loving son, but his job kept him away from home.
I brought you this.
You hear harmonicas?
I got that the morning you were born. And you play that no matter where I am. I can hear it.
Then one night, something happened. Something terrible.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I miss him too. I miss him too.
That turned into something wonderful.
I'm home. Charlie, it's me, it's Dad. What?
So I'm supposed to believe that you're my dad?
You were the one who played on the magic harmonica.
I thought you made that up.
So did I.
Just hear the selected dance jingle. Get up!
Nah, I don't think so.
Dad's the snowman.
Honey.
Excuse me?
Charlie's run away with the snowman. Really?
What's the snowman look like? 3 bowls, 2 stick arms?
Hey, that's my branch!
Stockies. Well built.
Shredding! Whoa! Hey, I slimmed down. Whoa! Thanks for giving me a second chance to be your dad.
Warner Brothers is proud to present Michael Keaton.
I'm a frozen freak of nature.
And Kelly Preston.
Freeze, mister.
She's obviously not talking to me.
In the story of a man who got a second chance to be the world's coolest dad.
As long as you hold someone in your heart, you can never lose them.
Jack Frost.
and sinners reconciled. God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise. Join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. On the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Christ by highest heaven adored. Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time.
Here with my co-host, Sean Michael Small, and he's going to take over from now. Sean?
That was an interesting shoot. That was an interesting shoot.
Let me address one thing right
No,
now.
we don't.
So my boy said, you see, you put yourself in the middle. First of all, the two wonderful gentlemen flanking me are shorter than I am. Secondly, I am wearing something completely different. Thirdly, it's only 3 of us. That is why I was in the middle.
I just said he has to be careful because people in the past who have reputation, so people might be quick to assume and judge.
Get to the next segment.
Right? I told you not to bring it up, right? I was just talking about the shoot because I was there, right? I'm always there, even though I'm not a cameraman. But anyway, I'm just the middleman.
You are the towel.
I am the dedicated. One of the things with bright lights, folks, is unfortunately the sweat.
And every time we need that out, Sean.
Yeah, I'm the guy that gets them
Paper
tissues,
towels.
paper towels, right? Anyway, let's not go any further with that, right? Because there's other things I could say, but let's leave non-controversial, controversial topics alone. Now, joining us today, and I guess this is WSN and Breakthrough's introduction to something that will come up in a bit, but we have 2 of your group members, 2 of the singers that have been with you for most, if not all, of this journey, and have even contributed to this very show in more ways than one. Of course, we have Luke and Eric.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So before we get into the now,
Sure.
I did hear a story about the first 12 carols of Christmas on a 6-hour recording.
Yeah, no, let's go.
So you gave me the cliff notes off air, but the audience needs to know why did it take 6 hours?
So one, I didn't know the song.
So
I was
why was that? Why were you recording a song that you didn't know? That doesn't seem to be very practical.
It's not practical, but it's possible.
It's possible, right? But why did this? Because
he specifically asked for me to do that song.
Right. When?
Look at when you asked that.
No, like he made the request when
It was
before.
probably like a few days.
Not a clue. No clue. Right now I can't remember.
A few days before the recording was.
It was on 11:59 for the 12 recording.
My gosh. I basically listen. I messaged Eric. I was like, listen, I want this song as part of my thing. What child is this? Do you know this song? He's like, no. I was like, okay. So these are the verses that you'll do. Please learn it. Let me know when you're ready, and we will film it.
Right.
When we got to the filming, however, we recorded it a few times, and then it didn't work out. Like, he kept forgetting, mixing up words, so then he proceeds to write the words. I had one light, and he sticks it onto the light, and even then, he forgot some of the words.
Because it was under the light, so I couldn't
Right,
see
it was
anything.
bright. It just blinded you.
I couldn't see anything.
So to be fair now, they're not trying. Apparently, I might assume there was no camera trickery involved. You wanted to do one take of the song.
Well, we couldn't afford. There was one camera, so there wasn't any. And I was playing live, and he was singing live, so no amount of trickery could have happened.
Right.
And especially, as it would have been if it was like a pre-recorded something.
Yes.
But no, we were recording audio and piano live, so he needed to know his words.
But it did happen though, right? Eventually, you did record it.
Ultimately, the song was done.
Do you remember how many takes?
How many could fit in 6 hours?
Well, the song is not even 10 minutes long.
It's
so
3 minutes long.
Right.
But it took us.
No,
we took some breaks.
It wasn't a continuous 6 hours. We took some breaks to see. Let's see. Can I learn these words? Can I learn this verse? Can I learn this particular chorus?
Learning words like in the moment is never a good thing.
Yeah.
I have learned as someone. I've very rarely, I think, I've had to go through this, right? But it's not like because I learn lyrics now for now.
Yes, thank you for saying that. I would just like to make it clear for the nation, this is not a common occurrence.
But you all have bust out this song afterwards, right? I think one of the WSN shoots y'all did this as well.
Yeah,
it was dragged out of me one more time.
And there was almost a concern of a repeat.
No, yes, please.
But it didn't happen.
No, this time around
it didn't happen. Now, of course, let's get to the meat of the matter. Mark Anthony Peter here. He has a project. And then from that project, the first time it's solos and him playing piano or him alone, right?
Yeah.
And then the second year, now he gets a group of people. And then the following years after, he continues recruiting a group of people.
Yes.
And now, at this point in time, he has formalized a group of people.
Breathe, you'll be fine. Yes, he has.
And he even had a name for this group of people, a name that was already chosen, but he was hesitant of releasing until recently, when now there's a whole social media page for this group of people.
I'm getting anxiety.
So, yes. So given the fact that Mr. Peter is having anxiety, Luke, I will ask you to speak about what is the name now of your group founded by Mark Anthony Peter?
So the name is One Voice. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. We're a choir. We sing with one voice and one mind.
Yeah, and Luke has been sort of, actually I will say from the very beginning, when I first introduced the group, Eric kind of helped direct it and produce the 12 Carols of Christmas with me.
Right.
And he's sort of been my co-producer and co-director since then. And then Luke started, and then Luke became, I officially named Luke the assistant director and producer this year. Although he sort of acted in that role last year as well.
Right, and of course, so this is, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of collaboration here with the various tasks, because now, essentially, this is a proper performing group. You all are considering wardrobe, you all are considering now choreography, as well as audiovisual production. It's just that, folks, so Mark and I and Luke were in a group that did choreography, and Eric never wanted any part of that. Until this year, when I had a wonderful laugh watching him having to learn and do choreography. For a video shoot, no less. His first choreography experience was a video shoot.
Yeah.
But
right?
He didn't have a choice. The choreographers would have skinned him. Anyway, but my point is there's a lot to go in it, and there's a lot of people with experience, whether like Eric and yourself, who have a lot of experience in the musical space and to some extent musical education as well. Luke, who has been now getting his degree, as well as, you know, being right alongside with you with a lot of these behind the scenes decisions. So that's a lot of good experience. And then they have people from our former organization that have both experience as performers but as organizers in their various fields, costumes, choreography, etc., etc. So this is not just like, you know, 8 friends decide that they're gonna learn how to sing off of a VHS tape. Correct. And they're from Ohio, and then they go to New York, and then they realize, we didn't know what we were up for, and we have to relearn everything from scratch. I'm taking the plot from a movie from the 80s. But anyway, and it was all dance and singing. But like, y'all have a fair amount of formal education, formal knowledge, practical experience, a lot of skills in various fields. Is this why you said, look, maybe I should just formalize this right now because it's kind of ridiculous? We're just like 8 friends just coming together randomly every year or something.
In terms of formalizing the group, it took a while for me, only because, listen, I'm involved in many different things, and public perception can always be to your benefit, but also to your detriment on some level, or just not to your detriment, but unbeneficial in some areas. So I was a little bit hesitant. I wasn't sure if I wanted to, but then there's a young man who's sitting next to me who nagged me. And nagged me.
Yes, I did.
And nagged me.
Oh, so what you're saying is, I'm not the biggest stone in the shoe.
You're not. You're still there. But
listen, I pale in comparison. I only get to nag him like once a month or something. You know? Luke probably nags you like, twice a week.
I see him probably like 5 times a week.
Okay, so
I probably nag him like 5 times a week.
Actually, if that's the case, I would hazard, I guess, 6 times a week because at least one of those days off, he's nagging him via WhatsApp or something along those lines.
Probably, yeah. But no, so he with some convincing, I said I wanted to make sure that the name meant something, and if we're doing this, I have a huge problem with that. Oof, do I want to do this on national TV again? Sometimes I have a huge problem with commitment for like long term. So meaning like,
as in you,
yes,
not wanting to commit, or you having a problem with other people not being clear with their commitment.
Yes, maybe yes
Both?
to both. Yeah,
Okay.
because life tends to happen, and it's always those words in your head could always be like, do you want to get embarrassed? Just leave it as just your projects, whatever. But then it really became, aside from Luke, then everybody started asking, like, how are you? Is this going to be a thing?
Because that's the first thing that came to mind. What was the response? I know we have Eric and Luke here, but the group you have, I think for 12 Carols of Christmas on WSN, we had 9 people. Mm-hmm. But then for the concert, there was at least one other person who was also.
Are you talking about this year?
The live show this year, there was someone that wasn't on the.
It was still 9 people, but for the live show I conducted, and we had another bass join us, Mark Morancy. So it still remained 9 in terms of singers.
No, but my point is, so at least as of right now, there are 10 people for this year associated with the group, right?
Yes.
We have 3 of you all here. There's 7 others. I'll ask either Eric or Luke. What was the response of others? Were they just as enthused as it wasn't just Luke like, let's do this thing, and everybody was like, all right, I guess we'll join in? Or were they like, no, we want to find a new direction and be part of something new? What was it like?
They were some of the people who had the questions as well, because they were used to being in formal organizations that had names and all of these different things. So they were a lot of the ones who had the questions. Are we going to name ourselves? Is this going to become that kind of a thing?
But is it from the likes of they just wanted to know, or was it from the angle of, well, we actually do want to be part of something?
They were enthusiastic about it as well. And that's something like, not only were they enthusiastic, but they actually took up the responsibility of making it a thing.
Right.
And so it wouldn't be a thing without all of them as well.
Yeah. And now here comes Mark now. And we just had, believe it or not, show. This is all a coincidence. We just had a show with our resident WSN psychologist, Sule Joseph, and talking about how, you're only thinking about, you're anticipating the failure, you're worried about the result, and that's why you have an anxiety.
I'm not doing this again.
So my boy was having a full therapy session for free, live in front of the nation, right?
On your neck this morning is good.
Dare I ask, any of that sound familiar with regards to this project?
As in on our part or with him?
With him. Yeah? Was he feeling anxiety? Was he worried about it busting?
With all projects. But I feel like that's something, especially because this was sort of the initial launch of this.
Right, because this is not just a project.
Exactly.
This is the creation of something that might stay small or might grow. You better grow it. It might stay small, it might grow, and like at the end of the day, this is I guess, at least so far, the culmination of his personal work.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the other thing. It's not as though you're a part of professional performing organizations. You're not a part of a group with a residency in Las Vegas. You're not a part of a group that's putting on a Broadway show. A lot of what we do, it's centered around various production groups, but it's mostly amateur. Right? Not in the sense of skill, but in the sense of just the model.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a professional entity. This is not people's day jobs. So to some extent, I understand where you're worried about how it will look and how people will feel and if you do your own thing. But at the same time, it's like, why are you holding yourself back?
I don't.
Wow.
We're not doing this today. We're not doing this today, please. But on that note, though, I will say what sort of helps, and I'll be very honest, what sort of helps is having both Eric and Luke with me, just sort of in the whole organization of things. I always call them my right and my left hand, right?
Which one is the left?
It depends on what the situation is and who is available.
I didn't ask which one is the right, huh?
But no, there's a passage in scripture that basically says God fights with his right and comforts you with his left.
Ah.
Right? So it's when he's watching over his people. So when they're ready to fight, they will fight. when they need to comfort me, they will comfort me. And vice versa.
The real question is then, is God right-handed or left-handed? Sorry.
That depends on your situation.
I think Luke kind of gets it. Now, with that said, I just want to, we're running out of time. So for each of you, we'll save Mark for last.
Oh, no.
We'll start with Eric and work our way down. One Voice. It launched this year. First live show, first video production. Now, too early, but where do you see it going, whether short or long term?
Let me just quickly, first paid live show.
First paid live show.
Ticketed, yes. These first two live shows that we did, it was very much free to the community, whoever wanted to come, and they enjoyed it. This was the first paid live, hence the anxiety. But go on, continue.
Well, you just added extra to yourself. But yes, where do you want to see the project go? Because it seems like most, if not everybody, to some degree is responsible for this as well now, because of who wanted it. So at least where are your hopes for it?
For me, beyond seasonal things, like we have the capacity and we have the people to pull off shows of any, for lack of better words, shows of any type. We're not limited by genre or anything of the sort like that in the group. We have people who do a lot of different things. And those who can't, there's somebody else doing that.
Okay.
So bases are covered. We have the capacity to move beyond, not that there's anything bad, to move beyond Christmas or just Easter, anything like that. You know what I mean?
I just want to ask, is genre like the 2024 way to say genre?
No, that's actually the correct pronunciation.
Oh, that's the correct?
That's the correct pronunciation. I have a teacher who'd be rolling in her grave and another one rolling in her bed if I said anything otherwise.
We had this conversation off air, I think. Language is fluid. It is what the majority of people says it is. Genre, right?
Sure, you can stick with that. That's a choice.
That's my choice and I'm sticking to it. Okay, Luke, as one of the youngest members in One Voice, but you've been involved, it's not like you're just here for the ride. What are your hopes for it?
Honestly, I could see this growing to, I can see this growing to be a household name. I feel like we have the potential to be known nationwide and to eventually travel and take our talents to different places.
Now here's the question. This is a very, very premature question, but might the group need to expand to do that, or do you think it'll stay this size?
Maybe. I think every time a business grows, the crew needs to grow as well to support the new growth. So I think we can add in more people, but maybe more behind the scenes people, because right now everything, well, with all the miking and the setup, it is just us. Everything is just us. All the members.
Perform and tech at the same time.
Everything. We do everything.
So ourselves. For the live show, y'all got a sound crew for the live show.
We had a sound engineer, one sound engineer, but we also had to, like Eric and Luke were adjusting people's mics and stuff like that, making sure everybody was placed correctly and all of those things.
Yeah. Right, maybe next time you invite me to do that, and I might have time for it. I don't know, maybe. Slightly.
Wow, might have time for us.
I'm not a time.
And we might appreciate it.
And we might appreciate it.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, to close the show, Mark, all of the anxiety. Where's your vision now? Come on, put it on the record so that you could have something to hold against you in future.
That's why you're not my right or my left hand.
It is time. It is that time. Yeah.
All right. Both of what they both said, I can see it being out of the season. More so for me, I look forward to the group's growth in terms of the repertoire, in terms of the stages that we do, and in terms of how we also serve the community, because the motto, well, right now, is basically joy and service through music. So through our last concert, we were able to give a donation to the Maracas RC School to help that sort of thing. And those sorts of, it's not just putting on a concert, it's not just putting on products for just because we like it, but it also has to have some sort of deeper purpose, some deeper service to the community. So in any way that we can help in any shape or form the community on a wider scale, that's going to be absolutely great for me. And more so, my wish for the individuals as well is for them to be great individuals, because I've great individuals on their own, and then when one voice comes together, it's great individuals coming together to make a great product.
Yes.
Because too many times I've seen where the group tends to trump the individual's artistic skills and in terms of their own individuality. And I think, and that's one of the things that I always see. So for example, people like the Clark sisters and Michelle Williams and Kelly Rowland also said this. The reason that they've lasted so long is because they're great individuals on their own. And then when they come to do great projects together, then they are great. But listen, everything that they described, all I heard was work.
I mean, all I'll say is, I don't know who said it first, but I was the only voice that said it doesn't have to be seasonal. It could be year-round. Just have smaller projects year-round, and Mark basically said the same thing, work. I'm sorry that the life of a struggling artist is too much work
Nobody
for you.
is struggling here, I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay, even better. I'm sorry, the life of a working artist is too much work for you. Who would have thought?
It's work.
I know. But I want to see, I personally would like to see, because art, I have this analogy with art and sport. I think both are the red-headed stepchildren of the country that are underutilized, that could mean so much to the national identity of the country because it expresses our talents beyond just the business world, right? And it could inspire young people in different ways, right? To show this is how you could be disciplined. This is how directly I practice and I achieve. You know, business and entrepreneurship and the corporate world, that has its own kettle of fish. But there's something about art and sport that, not always, but it's a bit more direct in its purity of my inputs can, directly show to my outputs. And one of the things is I want to see my friends succeed. I have known you all practically I knew Eric before One Voice, right? When he was just the guy that didn't want to do choreography. And now look at him. You see, he's grown.
But no, it's been great. It's been great.
I have all of the hope in the world because it's something new and it's not saddled with baggage of the past, which a lot of our groups are, for better or worse. And it is what it is. So, good fortune to the futures, and hopefully I'll be there to see most of it and maybe participate in about 1% of it.
Okay.
Just every now and then show my face.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Trinidad and Tobago, we thank Eric and Luke for joining us for this segment. It's been great. It's been wonderful. Stay tuned for all that One Voice has to offer. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. You can check us out, and you can also check out my YouTube channel for all of the stuff that we've done. And look out for 12 Carols of Christmas. Look out for the ad of which being shown on WASN.
Yes, this Christmas, folks.
Sean, it's been great. It was a wonderful episode today. Thank you very much.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. All the anxiety notwithstanding.
Trinidad and Tobago, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Come and made holy.
Baby,